Welcome to the You're Wrong Show, where we help entrepreneurs live their best lives. I'm your host, Justin You're Wrong, and today I really just wanted to talk about how I personally handle fear and anxiety as an entrepreneur. Because in my opinion, this is one of the topics that I think is severely not talked about enough on social media. As entrepreneurs, we all put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get things done and to do these big things. And it's like, why do we do that? Well, we do that because we want to succeed, we want to live a good life, but being an entrepreneur and trying to progress really fast in any type of industry to grow your own business, it can be very stressful, and there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear involved. And the best entrepreneurs out there, it's not like they don't have fear, they don't have anxiety, they have it. They just found a way to deal with it, overcome it, and become the people that you know them to be today. That's how they do it. They have to overcome it. Now, whenever I feel fear or anxiety as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of things that actually happen. One is I first feel it, and I feel it fully. There's a lot of different stressors out there, and I'm always having to try to identify what fire do I have to put out first? What's the most important thing I need to do now in order to keep everything afloat, in order to have enough money, in order to keep up with my content schedule, in order to keep up with clients, sellers, whatever the thing is. I'm always having to think of what's the most important thing to do. Now, with all these different stressors, there are certain stressors that are worse than others. And let me give you an example. So this is actually one of the houses I bought recently. If you don't know me already, most of my content is real estate investing related. I teach people how to flip houses, how to buy houses and make money in real estate. And one of the deals that I had bought, one of the houses I had bought, when I bought it, 6 months back, it was actually during a great time in real estate. Anytime a seller would list a house for sale, they'd get an insane price and they get their asking price right away. So they'd sell their house right away for top dollar. And I bought this house during that time frame. Now, we've already passed a recession, and I understand you might be watching or listening to this podcast at a different point in time. But right now, we are in a recession in terms of real estate. So all the house prices are dropping down and down and down. And initially the plan with this house that I bought was to buy it, fix it up, do a full renovation on it, make it super nice, super modern, and resell it for a good price. Maybe make 30, 40K on it. Now, with this recession, if I were to continue to do the same exact plan, the same exact strategy that I intended to do when I first bought it, I would definitely lose money. It's almost like a sure thing I would lose money. Imagine buying a house, expecting to make $30,000 on it profit, and then the market just flips on you, which is something I was anticipating and I was seeing coming. But imagine you didn't see that coming, and the market completely flips on you, and instead of making 30K, you're projected to lose $20,000. How would that make you feel? Incredibly stressed, I'm assuming, because that's what happened to me. And as soon as I figured that out, as soon as I noticed the market shift, I had to make a new game plan, re-strategize, figure out what I was going to do with this property. And so how I did it, and how I dealt with this anxiety, is instead of just kind of falling apart, which is what I know a lot of entrepreneurs do, they hit a hard point, a rock, and they're like, man, I don't know what to do now. There's nothing to do. Well, there's always something you can do. There's always different options that you can do. It's just a matter of executing it. And it's a matter of staying logical during times where you feel all this emotion building up inside of you. So what I did in that situation, I just had to analyze the facts. I said, okay, scenario one, I just ran through different scenarios and I said, scenario one, I continue with the original plan and I lose $20,000. And I thought, that's a horrible scenario, but it's a scenario. I don't want to do it. That's a scenario because I don't know what the other options are yet. Then I ran through scenario two. I said, okay, what if I just try to sell this house as is? What would I make? What would I get out of it? And I thought, okay, if I sold it as is right now, I'd probably lose $5,000 instead of losing $20,000. So I was like, oh, scenario two, much better option. And then I thought, okay, what if I did maybe a very low tier renovation on the house, and instead of selling it for top dollar, sell it for like medium tier dollar, doing a medium tier renovation. So instead of doing maybe a $30,000 renovation, I thought, what if I could do a $10,000 to $15,000 renovation? And that's actually the route I ended up going, because if I did, a $15,000 renovation, and still sell it for a certain price, I could actually still walk away making $15,000 to $25,000 on this home. And so I thought, oh, this is probably the best scenario. But before I did that, I remember before I thought through these logical scenarios, I remember feeling a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. I've never actually lost money on a deal yet for real estate investing. Never lost money on a flip. I didn't intend to on this deal. I didn't want to. But I remember going through this, and it was incredibly stressful. I even had a talk with my girlfriend about it when we were out for lunch one day. I told her exactly about it, and I remember her asking me the question, what are you going to do? And I thought, I don't really know, because I didn't know at the time. And it might have taken me a day, to be honest, to like really take it in. And everyone needs a different time. I probably could have acted faster. And made a different game plan, adjusted and pivoted right away, but I didn't. And I didn't because I'm human. And I let the emotion get to me for an extra day that did not need to happen of me trying to figure out the game plan. But eventually I figured it out. And the only way I did that was to accept it. I had to accept it and then figure out all the different options that I had available to choose from. Once you do that, you can accomplish anything. Because that's the thing I think a lot of big entrepreneurs or entrepreneur gurus online don't talk about, is that I think the best business owners out there, they have the ability to stay kind of even keel, meaning they have the ability to stay very grounded and not emotional when things do get very rough. So when things get rough, you want to be, super grounded. You want to be able to think logically. And even this is true when things are really great. When things are amazing, yes, maybe you want to celebrate with your friends and family, spouse, whatever. But when things are great, you should stay even more grounded because you just don't know how fast things can swap. That's the life of an entrepreneur. That's the life of a business owner. You just have to be prepared for everything. And the most grounded person emotionally will win. So that's how I deal with fear and anxiety as an entrepreneur. I hope this was helpful, just giving that example and helping you understand how I handle the fear and anxiety. But the truth is, no one has it mastered. The best people out there, they still struggle with it. I promise you. The best entrepreneurs out there in the world today still have this fear and they still have the anxiety. But I will say this, the more you overcome this, every single time you overcome fear, every single time you overcome anxiety, the better you get at it and the faster you overcome it every single scenario thereafter. So it just takes practice. You just have to realize you have to think logically. You have to be emotionally grounded during these times. And I promise you will get through anything and everything. So if you enjoyed this episode, I want you to connect with me on social media. I want to hear your feedback. And you can also find all my social media links in the show description. Thanks for listening. Peace.